So one day you are sitting around and you are tasked with a mission from God. Try to pretend that it's a trick of the imagination and pass the burden off to somebody else? Or do you get off your ass and do what God told you? Want to know what she did? Come on, I'll show you. So the 100 Years' War, not going great for the French. The English and their longbows control the northern part of the country and are about to capture a key city that will give them access to the south. And with French knights busy with the English, banditry becomes a problem. On top of that, the poor are being squeezed with taxes to pay for these wars, and to pay for extravagant banquets and shit like that. Fountains of wine do not pay for themselves after all, and that shit is not cheap. Couple that with the king being absolutely batshit insane, and the king's two brothers fighting for influence, and all this coming on the heels of the Black Plague. If you're France right now, things are looking rough. Especially for this guy Charles VII, who's the son of the guy who thinks he's made of glass. You're just trying to hold things together so you have something to inherit. And then your dad goes and disinherits you and gives your throne to this guy, Henry V. This guy's not even fucking French. He's English. And he just whooped your ass at the Battle of Agincourt. Hence why your dad is ceding the throne to him, hoping through this appeasement to secure lands to the south. And we all know how well appeasement works. And so now the English are attacking the city of Orleans. And it's looking like this is going to be just another French L. Chuck needs a miracle. Hold my lemonade, says this very young French girl from the countryside. Her name is Jean, but we'll call her Joan. So Joan's a peasant girl in northern France, doing what any other peasant girl would do in the midst of a century-long conflict. Now at the age of 13, her town is raided. And it's at this point her visions begin. She says she's visited by St. Michael, St. Margaret, and St. Catherine. Now, apropos of nothing, these are all local patron saints to the area that she'd heard of before. But one thing about Homegirl is she's convincing and she is determined. On top of that, there's a prophecy going around that France is going to be saved by a female virgin. And Joan leans into that. She starts telling people around town, I want to save France, and I'm only 13, so I'm a virgin. As well you should be. And she is adamant about this. She's so convinced that she begins to convince other people. Eventually, she convinces her to take her dad to a local court so she can let an actual official know that she's here to save France. Now, she petitions the court for audience. But how do you think that would go over today? Hey, Senator, there's a teenage girl here that said her visions from God will help save the country. I mean, 50-50. But the fact that she's a girl in the Middle Ages, not working in her favor. So, of course, she's denied audience. Not once, but twice. However, by the third time, she made friends with a few French knights who vouched for her. Did I say she's also persuasive? Over a few meetings, she's able to convince this local lord that she's all about it. So eventually, this local lord decides to send Joan to see none other than Charles VII, the heir to the throne of France. Now, Charles, for his part, is also skeptical. I mean, as well you should be. So he sets up a little test for his first meeting with Joan. The social media, the internet, cameras didn't exist back then. So you might know that there's an heir to the throne of France, but you'd have no idea what he looks like. And so when Joan shows up, he hides himself. Now I've heard different accounts of this, some more dramatic than the others. One has somebody coming up to Joan and introducing himself as the prince. And her being able to spot the fake instantly says, stop fucking around and take me to the prince. Another, more believable story has the prince hiding behind a group of people, seeing how Joan would react and if she could recognize him. And lo and behold, even though she's never seen him before, she is able to recognize him. Once she does this, the prince is sold. Kinda. I need to verify your claims first, though. You said that you're sent by God, but it could be the devil. You say that you're here to help France, but you could be a spy. You say that you're a virgin, but so did my first high school girlfriend. Trust, but verify. So is she going to pass the test? Until next time.